All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Have you heard that quote? Well, we're going to talk about a David versus Goliath scenario and why we need good people like yourselves who love God and country to stand up for what is true. In 1 Samuel 17, there's the very famous story of David versus Goliath. Hi, Alex McFarland here. Welcome to the program. Look, I think everybody watching this program probably knows that the United States of America, and to a large degree the world, is in a battle of a lot of dichotomies. There's truth versus error. There's facts versus spin. There's really freedom and liberty versus bondage and restraint. And we're going to hear a story in a few moments of a small business owner that really fell under the sledgehammer and shackles of big tech. And we're going to talk about that. And actually, it has a good outcome, although certainly the man that we'll meet, probably it wasn't fun as a small business owner and as a family man fighting the big tech titans of PayPal and companies like that. But folks, we're in a time when you, the average citizen, and myself, we must pray, we must be committed to truth, and we must be willing to stand strong by principles. As I gave that quote at the beginning by Edmund Burke, all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Now, I want to read a quote. It's a very famous quote by Teddy Roosevelt. You've heard it before, I'm sure. It's one of my favorite quotes, but Teddy Roosevelt said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, the man who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but the man who does actually strive to do the good deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself out in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat." When Teddy Roosevelt gave that speech, over and over there were great eruptions of applause. And folks, we are called to serve God and country, to stand for truth. It's not always easy. Look, I know what it is to be criticized by those that should be cheering us on. I know what friendly fire is, right? Well, when we come back, we're going to hear from a man who bravely, valiantly pressed on to victory, even though his very livelihood and his family's welfare was at stake. Stay tuned. We're talking about the battle for truth and good after this break. 100 Bible Questions and Answers for Families. That's the newest book that Bert Harper and I, Alex McFarland, have put together from hundreds of questions from actual radio listeners to our nationally syndicated radio show, Exploring the Word. Published by Broad Street Publishing. 100 Bible Questions and Answers for Families ask questions like, how are children a gift from God? How can I build my family around the teachings of God's Word and Jesus Christ? So many dozens of questions that we think will encourage and equip you in your walk and witness. It's available everywhere books are sold, online, your favorite local Christian bookstore, Barnes & Noble, on Amazon. I encourage you to please check it out and tell your friends about 100 Bible questions and answers for families. Enjoy reading. Thanks for reading, and may God bless you. Welcome back. Alex McFarland here. You know, when we talk about intrusion into a free market economy and just honest, hardworking business owners getting obstructed, you know, that disturbs people. But you are about to hear a story that you might just even have trouble getting your mind around it. The story of a family owning a business, a successful business. Great, hardworking American story, and yet big tech doing their utmost to put a small business owner out of business. We're going to talk right now with James Staake. James is in Tennessee, and he's got youramericanflagstore.com. It's a beautiful website. And James, for one thing, I want to hear your story. But let me just say, I commend you. I've looked at your website and the flags you create. I want to hear how you came into this, but let me commend you for making beautiful art, because that's what it looks like to me. It's art. And I want to hear your story and how some of the potholes you've had to navigate along the way of building a successful business. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, before we hear the story of some of what you've had to go through, tell us about youramericanflagstore.com and these beautiful renderings of the red, white, and blue.
Well, we started it about 6.5 years ago. It was our son's idea when he was 6 years old. He had the idea to put patriotic artwork on wooden American flags. And he noticed that I had a lot of tools laying around when I wasn't working in the trades. And we just slowly started coming up with the idea, traveling all over the country, talking to different Americans all over the place, from San Diego to Reno to Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. We actually had a booth and sold. And customers would, or patriots would just come up to us and say, hey, have you had a flag with this on it? Or have you a flag with that on it? And over time, we just heard enough of those. And now we have about 150-ish flag designs on our website, all patriotically.
And they're made out of wood, right? They're wooden.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're made of wood. So we just kind of ran with that. And the more we talk to people, the more ideas we get. And we, have expanded into some other products that we think that we're just passionate about as woodworkers and stuff. And recently with shirts and that kind of thing, that we want to kind of spread a good message. No matter how much they try to get us into like this ugly mess, we always are trying to like push out, a good positive message, which can be hard when you're caught in cancel culture.
Sure, sure. Now, is it antique wood or reclaimed wood, or what type of wood do you use, James?
No, it's yellow pine that's harvested in Georgia, and we get it from a mill in Georgia, and they truck it up here, and we make it from just raw wood stock.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you do Christian themed, put the cross on some of these and things like that?
Oh yeah. We have a flag for everybody. One of the first things that we went after the things that we're passionate about, obviously. One of the flags that is our favorite that we have in our home, it has a cross cut out of the flag with a light behind it, so that the light shines through the flag, through the cross. And we customize it with the customer's favorite Bible verse. That was one of the first flags that was actually canceled by Facebook. They actually said that flag went against their community standards.
With the cross of Jesus Christ on it.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well,
And we,
I grew up in a family, a small business that we ran for 68 years. And so I believe in a free market economy. And I want to hear the story of big tech deciding that they are going to tell you, the business owner, not only how to run your business, but if you can run your business. Tell me about the flag that was a brand new chapter in your journey. I want to hear this.
Okay, so a customer had called. I mean, we were thriving. Keep in mind, we were in California, living paycheck to paycheck. We started this business on my son's idea. Things were going great. We got out of debt. We fixed our credit, and we moved from California to Tennessee. We get to Tennessee. One of our first customers here in Tennessee. Now, this is in COVID too. So if we back up, we were traveling all over the country. And then our business hit a real big problem. We weren't allowed to travel around and go to rodeos and that kind of thing to sell our flags at events because you weren't allowed to talk to people during that time. So we had to reinvent ourselves online. We reinvented ourselves online, and when we did that, that then is where we became vulnerable to what happened. So we get to Tennessee, and we have a customer that calls us up and wants a custom order, something that we didn't have on our website at that point. He asked us to put Donald Trump on a flag. So, and we have simple rules. We'll put anything on a flag that a customer is passionate about, as long as it's not disrespectful to our country or to a religion or something like that. If it's ugly, we're not going to do it. So we did this one, and everything was going great. The customer ended up getting their flag, taking a picture of it, loved it so much. They put it on Facebook, tagged us in it, and that's what triggered us to be canceled, where we found out on about January 8th or 9th, 2021, that we were no longer going to be allowed to place ads. And Shopify had deleted all those same flags, the conservative theme, the Christian cross, the military theme, the police officer themed, all of those flags were all lumped and said you can't sell them on Shopify from their website, and we weren't allowed to advertise them on Facebook.
Oh my goodness. On social media, as everybody knows, I mean, there are things that are just unspeakably dark and immoral, and sexual deviancy, Satanism, God knows what. I mean, and yet the cross, Christianity, patriotism, Donald Trump, all of these evil things get a pass, but your products that speak of God and country get shut down.
That's correct. And shut down hard. There was about 20, I think, 23, I believe, the most basically our best-selling flags all got pulled down. And what that ended up doing was that, so the best part of our story is that in the worst part of it, we couldn't advertise. Nobody would touch us. Our ad privilege is gone. It's in the middle of COVID, so you can't go out there and sell flags, and we're stuck in our home, but nobody will place an ad for us. And we just, nobody would help us. So I started posting on social media. I got so really, the sad part is, I have to admit that the first thing I should have done was start to go pray.
Yeah.
And it was the last thing that I did. I was such in a panic and so scared of losing everything. And we were getting behind on the car payments and mortgages and all that kind of stuff. Our kids were going to bed hungry at night because we just didn't have money. We were literally running out of food. So I left my shop, which is about 100 yards from my house, and went up to the house. It's about 10 o'clock at night. My wife is in bed already. And I tell her, could you get out of bed? We need to pray. So we prayed together for the first time that night at the foot of our bed, and we asked God to show us a path. And whatever the path was, we will follow it. So if he wanted me to go back into carpentry and my wife could go back to being an artist at Trader Joe's, great, we'll do it. Show us the path. But if the path that he wanted us on was to stay in this business and continue forward and spread what we were spreading, to show us a path so we could do it. So that was our prayer at 7:30 the next morning. This is just about 8 hours later. And a quote from my prayers, I said that if you show me the path, I will walk it until the end. The next morning, 7:30 in the morning, Newsmax calls me and says, "Hey, we saw your story on LinkedIn. Would you like to come on tonight on the Rob Schmidt Show and talk about what's going on?" And I said, yes. They asked me a bunch of questions about the story, and they said, "James, this story is very big. We're going to stay with you. It's not just this interview. And the developments change and things happen in your story. Call us. We're going to be in this with you till the end." And right when I heard that word, I was, there's the path right there.
This is just hours after you prayed, "Lord, I'll walk this path to the end," and you're hearing that phrase from this media outlet. James, I want to hear the rest of your story, but I just want to say to everybody watching that's a lot of the ways that God works. And, to everybody seeing this interview, no doubt there's some that are probably in a tough place right now. And I can say from my own journey, God is faithful. If you will walk by faith and trust the Lord, He will guide you. James Staake, can you concur that it's not always easy, it's not always convenient, but when you put your hand in the hand of the Lord, He will lead you, He will guide you through the whole journey, won't He?
Oh, absolutely. And since that happened, there's been times where, it got a little bit hard again. But what that answer was so powerful that my wife and I were just like, we're not even going to worry about it. Let's just get to work, do good things, and everything is fine. We know we are where we're supposed to be at the time we're supposed to be doing it. The path has been cut. Stay on the path. God laid that path for me. I'm going to stay on that path like I told him I would till the end. And that path has led us not just to we've been on TV now, I think about a little over 50 times. And that also got the attention of some legislators. And with those legislators, we have a bill up for a vote here in the new Congress in Tennessee that would actually stop PayPal. That's part of the story we haven't talked about is the PayPal part,
Yeah, I want to
which
hear
is
that.
so what happened with PayPal was that after we got onto Newsmax and things were kind of starting to work out for us, um, they took all the money. So now they've stopped our advertising. And but we still have our money that we've made. So the next way that you hurt somebody is you take away the money that they got. And that's exactly what PayPal did. They took all the money that we had, they held it. They said that you have a shady business model and we think that you're going to go out of business. And I said, well, if you hold my money, you're guaranteeing I'm going out of business. I won't have a chance to do it. And they said, well, if this is all the money you have, you're not a very good businessman. So, we're not going to give you the money so you can run your business. And when you hold someone's money, you control the decisions that they make.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was very, very difficult at that time. But again, we saw what God had done, and we just knew that everything would be okay. Just keep on plugging along, and we did. And at one point, it got really bad again. And my father and mother-in-law said, "Okay, so what's going on?" I said, "We've got all the flags ready. All the orders are ready. They will not give us back our last $10,000 so we can ship these flags out to our customers." And now customers are saying, "Oh yeah, sure, you've got it. I'm sure, yeah, it's going to get in the mail. It's going to get in the mail." And we're literally saying, "Yes, it's going to. I just have to get it shipped." So my father-in-law and mother-in-law paid the last. It was like $9,800 for all the shipping of about 150 flags to get out. So I think actually it was about 250 flags to get out. So UPS comes, they pick up all the flags, they go out there, and what PayPal did was in the very end when Harmeet Dillon from the Center for American Liberty got involved. She saw us on one of the TV programs that we were on. She called us and she said, "Look, we're going to fight big tech for you from now on. You just go about making flags. That's what you do. You don't need to be doing this legal stuff." So she started making the fight for us. She got back all of our money, about $100,000. They at one point they held $111,000 of our money for 11 months.
PayPal, I mean, this is extortion. I mean, what right do they have as the bank, if you will, to hold your money and refuse to let you access the funds that are yours? This is so is there legislation in process that will prevent big tech, the social media giants from doing this to I mean, look, let's be honest, because I've been banned from YouTube. I've had Facebook delete posts. Um, we know if you love the Lord, if you love America, if you are a conservative, big tech will twist your arm to try to silence you and make you go away. Is there legislation to prevent this and protect small business owners like yourself?
Yes, there actually is. It's Tennessee House Bill 846 right now. It'll be voted on in the next Congress. And we testified to Congress several months ago. Now, back up for 1 second. When PayPal was holding that money and Harmeet got it all back, almost all back, they had $11,000 left of our money. Then PayPal then said, "We'll give you back the last $11,000, which we needed for shipping." They said, "We'll only give it back to you if you sign a non-disclosure agreement." And so, why does someone want a non-disclosure agreement? They obviously don't want people knowing what they did. So I told them, no, I'm not going to do it. didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement. We went back on the news again and we got it back. That ended up leading to the legislation where my testimony was real simple. I tried to stay away from our own circumstances. I explained some of our circumstances that our kids were, not getting fed properly because they're holding all of our money. I explained all that kind of stuff. And here's the important thing. Most Americans have heard that if in the best of circumstances, a business goes out of business, if they're left alone in good circumstances, 5 to 7 years is what the average business goes out. 70% of family businesses end after about 7 years. What most people don't know is that when that happens, about 60% of those family-owned businesses that go bankrupt end up in divorce, which puts the kids through, the real bad things, leaving with insecurities,
Sure.
anxieties, all kinds of things. So when we talk about cancel culture, what I try not to focus on, as horrible as it is for the businesses, it is, but
It's
it's
worse
really an
for the
attack on the
families.
American family. Yeah, it's the American family that they're really attacking, and the American Christian conservative families is who they're targeting. And they just
Right.
use the business platforms to do it.
Well, it's probably no fun to be at the point of the spear, but I know that what you've gone through and how you've navigated it is going to ultimately be for the good of others. We're sadly about out of time. James Staake of YourAmericanFlagStore.com. Hope we can talk again.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back anytime.
You've got a fantastic product line, genuinely beautiful flags and art that you create. Hey, thanks for standing strong for God and country. We wish you the best, and we hope to visit again soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Stay tuned, folks. We're back after this.
I just returned from a conference at the Cove, and it was absolutely breathtaking in every way. The mountain views, the tranquil areas within the woods, and just being alone with God. Mornings spent watching the sunrise from a rocking chair with coffee in one hand and my Bible in the other. Evenings spent reflecting on the incredible spiritual teaching. It's the embodiment of peacefulness. Come and experience the Cove for yourself.
Welcome back to the program. Wow, what a story by James Staake. I was hearing his story and how PayPal not only tried to shut him down and other big social media, big tech platforms, but held over $100,000 of his money. It's amazing. And we're living in a time where the free market economy is not just about freedom and the market, but it's about ideology. Look, I know Truth for a New Generation Ministries, Alex McFarland Ministries, I've had my books taken down off of Amazon and then put back. I've had Facebook posts banned. We've had our Twitter account, locked up for a day or more. Why? Because we were talking about Jesus. We were talking about patriotism. We're talking about America. And, I think about on Twitter and Facebook a couple of years ago, I praised a Democrat senator from Georgia who was a Christian. I didn't say anything inflammatory, but I, as a Republican, was putting a Facebook post praising the legacy of a Democrat who died that was a Christian. And it was unacceptable. Now, what am I saying here, folks? We're in a battle. And you as an individual, all of us, you can pray. You can be bold in standing up for America and for Christianity and truth. There was a journalist, David Neff, a few years ago. He said that all that was our free America is about to become a faint and mocking memory. Now listen to this. American culture is dying simply because nobody bothered to pass it on. Well, we believe that America is worth loving, cherishing. We should pray for it. We should pass it on. And I want to challenge you, like David in 1 Samuel 17:29, when David fought Goliath and his brother Eliab. What are you doing? Just be quiet. Stay back. David, who would pick up 5 smooth stones, he laid out 5 profound words. Is there not a cause? And yes, there is a cause. Folks, look, freedom, prosperity, liberty, the Great Commission. your ability to get up and go to church, your pastor's ability to preach the whole counsel of God, our kids and grandkids hearing about Jesus, marriage. There are so many reasons that we need to stand strong and fight for truth. Hopefully you'll never go through anything like James Staake went through, but folks, let's use this window of opportunity to stand for God and country while we still have time.
Wow, I cannot say enough about the Kairos experience. This is the best decision of my life.
God is calling you here. He's going to help you. He's going to lead you in the right direction. You'll see the heart of Andrew. You'll see the heart of all the instructors. And the Lord will speak to you if you come.
If you are desiring to come to Bible college, then you have a word from the Lord.
God has something for you. Here, come.
God has a purpose to train you in what you're called to do, and I tell you, Charis Bible College is the place for that.
Man, if you want a life change, come to Charis.
Come on to Charis.
You need to take a step of faith and start believing God for something big. God made every one of you for something special.
The next 2 to 3 years could be the most powerful time of your life.
Wow, isn't it exciting to see God raising up leaders? And it's very exciting when we see the Lord raise up young people that know what they believe, they know why they believe it, they love this country, and they're willing to take a stand for truth. Hi, Alex McFarland. I want to say thanks to all who pray for these ministries, you financially support. It is making a difference. I just got back from Wisconsin. I was at a conference with 3,800 people, teenagers that are eagerly soaking up apologetics, biblical worldview, patriotism. Right now we're working on our summer camps. This is one of our workbooks, and we'll have 7 camps in the summer of 24. Here's one of the camp t-shirts from last year. And I want to ask everyone who's watching this to help us. We're doing a lot of radio, television, conferences, publishing, and $400 pays for a week at camp for a young person. We have hundreds every summer that give their life to Christ, and we talk to them about America and standing against wokeness and standing for truth. So here's what I would like to ask you to do. If you would support for your gift of at least $50, I'm going to send you 2 jars of our all-natural, non-GMO, no-chemical McFarland peanut butter. You can donate online at alexmcfarland.com, or if you would mail a check of at least $50, a tax-deductible contribution, and you request it, we're going to send you 2 jars, crunchy and smooth, of what we think is the greatest peanut butter anywhere. Write and send a donation, please, to P.O. Box 10231, Greensboro, North Carolina, 27408. May God bless you.